Hi guys, today we're going to work on how to divide mixed numbers. The first thing we need to discuss is reciprocal, because that's a word that I know you need to know. It is basically when you flip your fraction, you switch the numerator and denominator. Next, the steps to divide fractions are always the same. You keep the first fraction, you change the division sign into multiplication sign, and then you flip the second fraction, or you use the reciprocal. So now, the big important thing that we're doing different today than we have done in the past is we need to turn a mixed number into an improper fraction. And so if I have 5 and 1/3, if you look over here, it says number 1, you multiply the denominator by the whole number. So 3 times 5, that gives me 15. And then you add the numerator. 15 plus 1 is my numerator, is 16. So my thing is 16. And add the new number. And the new number is the numerator, but my denominator stays the same. So my denominator stays a 3. Let's do another one. If I have something like 7 and 4/5, first thing I had to do is I had to multiply my denominator and the whole number. So 5 times 7 is 35. And then I'm going to add the numerator. So 35 plus 4 is 39. So that's going to be my new numerator, and my denominator stays the same as 5. So that's the only thing that's really any different with today's lesson than what we've done in the past, just because of the fact that with today's lesson, we have to turn our mixed numbers into improper fractions, and then we do the same keep, change, flip that we have been doing. So let's do this one right here. Number 2 or number 1, you have 2 and 2/3, and just a second, right here, 2 and 2/3 divided by 3 and 1/4. And I expect to see you do this when you're doing your work on your worksheet in class. So first thing I had to do is I had to multiply my denominator and my whole number. So 3 times 2 is 6, plus 2 is 8. So I have 8, and my denominator stays the same, divided by 3 times 4 is 12, plus 1 is 13. My denominator stays the same. Now I do the keep, change, flip. So I do 8/3, change my sign, flip my second fraction. Okay, I'm looking at these numbers and I'm saying, okay, 3 and 13 are prime numbers, and 3 does not go into 4 evenly, and 13 and 8 don't go into each other evenly. So I've simplified it. Now I have 8 times 4, which gives me 32, and 3 times 13 gives me 39. So my simplified answer to number 1 is 32 over 39. Let's look at number 2. Number 2, I have 1 and 3/4 divided by 4 and 1/8. So I'm going to first multiply denominator times whole number. So 4 times 1 is 4, and then add my numerator. 4 plus 3 is 7. My denominator stays the same, divided by 8 times 4 is 32, plus 1 is 33 over 8. Now I do keep my first fraction, change my sign, and flip my second fraction. Well, when I'm looking at this one right here, I see 4 and 8. 4 goes into 8 evenly, so 4 divided by 4 is 1. 8 divided by 4 is 2. Now I'm going to do 7 times 2 and get 14, and 1 times 33, and I get 33. When I look at this, I see that the top number is smaller, so I am done solving this problem. Let's go to number 3. 3 is 2 and 1/5 divided by 2 and 1/3. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 1 is 11/5 divided by 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7/3. So now I'm going to do the keep my first fraction, 11/5, change the sign, and flip the second one. Now I'm going to multiply straight across. So 11 times 3 is 33. 5 times 7 is 35. Well, 33 is smaller than 35, and I've already checked to see if I can simplify it, and so I am done with this problem. Let's look at number 4. 4, I have 5 and 1/4 divided by 3. Okay, 5 and 1/4. Let's do what we've been doing. 4 times 5 is 20, plus 1 is 21. So I have 21 over 4 divided by 3. How do I turn 3 into a fraction? I put a 1 underneath it, so 3 over 1. Now I'm going to look at it and say, okay, now I do my keep, change, flip. So keep my first fraction, 21 over 4. Change my division sign to times, and flip the second fraction. Now I'm looking at this and I'm saying, 4 and 1, I can't simplify that, but I can simplify 12 and 3. 12 divided by 3 is 4. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 1 is 4. So 4 divided by 4 is 1. So my answer is 1. That was kind of a tricky one, but that's how you solve it. Let's look at number 5. 5, I have 10 over 1 divided by 3 and 1/4. So 4 times 3 is 12 plus 1, denominator times whole number plus numerator. So denominator times whole number is 4 times 3 is 12 plus 1 is 13. So I'm going to have 10 over 1 divided by 13 over 4 because my denominator stays the same. Now I do my keep, change, flip. So 10 over 1, keep my first fraction, change my sign, and flip my second for 13. Well, I'm looking at this and I can't simplify it. 1 and 4, I can't simplify those. 10 and 13, 13 is a prime and 10 does not go into evenly. So I am ready to multiply. 10 times 4 is 40. 1 times 13 is 13. I look at this one and I notice something. My bigger number's on the top, which means I have to divide. So I'm going to do 40 divided by 13. 13 goes into 40 3 times. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 1 is 3. So 39. 40 minus 39 is 1. So my answer is 3 and 1/13. Perfect. That wasn't too hard, was it? Now let's do number 6. I have 7 and 1/4 divided by 2 and 1/8. First thing I have to do is turn my mixed number into an improper fraction. 4 times 7 is 28 plus 1 is 29. My denominator stays the same, so I keep my 4 on the bottom, divided by 8 times 2 is 16 plus 1 is 17. Now I'm going to do my keep, change, flip. So I keep my first fraction, 29 over 4. I change my division to a times, and now I flip my second, 8 over 17. Well, 29 and 17 are prime numbers. Those two can't simplify, but 4 and 8 I can. 4 divided by 4 is 1, and 8 divided by 4 is 2. So now I have to do 29 times 2, which gives me 58 over 17. I am not done because my bigger number is on the top. So now I have to do 58 divided by 17. I'm going to take a guess and say that's 3 times. 3 times 7 is 21. 3 times 1 is 3 plus 2 is 5. 51. Okay. 58. 8 minus 1 is 7. 5 minus 5 is 0. So it's 3 and 7/17. Perfect. We're done with that part. Now we've got one more problem right here. It says writing to explain. Paper needs to be cut for voting ballots. Each piece of paper is 10.5 inches long. Each ballot should be 1 3/4 inches long. How many ballots can be made from one piece of paper? When you're solving any division problem, you first begin with what you begin with. What do I start with? I start with 10.5 inches of paper. How big do I make my pieces? I make my pieces 1 3/4 inches long. This is how I set up my problem. Now I have to solve it. But in order to solve it, the first thing I have to do is I have to turn my mixed numbers into improper fractions. So 2 times 10 is 20, plus 1 is 21. And my denominator stays the same, divided by 4 times 1 is 4, plus 3 is 7. So 7/4. Now I am going to do the keep, change, flip. Keep my first fraction, change my sign, and flip my second fraction. This one has a lot of simplifying I have to do. 2 and 4, well, 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 4 divided by 2 is 2. I'm done with that part. Now I'm looking at 7 and 21, and 7 goes into 21 3 times. So 21 divided by 7 is 3. 7 divided by 7 is 1. So now I'm going to multiply across. 3 times 2 is 6. 1 times 1 is 1. 6 divided by 1 is 6. And now I am done with my problem. So it would cut 7 ballots from one piece of paper. We're done. Good luck on your assignment. Remember, if you have any questions, you always need to ask. See ya.